Hey there! Thanks for stopping by for this episode of the Industrial Cyber Weekly Roundup. I'm Bailey, and I'll be running you through the most recent developments and news in the industrial cybersecurity world. So let's get into it. On the second anniversary of the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack, the US CISA addressed the event as a watershed moment in the short but turbulent history of cybersecurity. In light of the need to ensure the security and resilience of critical infrastructure, amid complex threats and increasing geopolitical tensions, CISA has called upon industry stakeholders to ensure that the technology that underpins critical services is safe and secure. It also focused on the need to prioritize cybersecurity at the highest levels, continue to invest in the JCDC model, and the need to normalize cyber risks for the general public, with the recognition that cyber attacks are a reality for the foreseeable future. Industry executives said that following the Colonial Pipeline incident, operators and government regulators have made significant progress in stepping up cybersecurity efforts. Government directives from the likes of TSA, CISA, and NIST have embraced preventative identity-based approaches. It has also led the Biden-Harris administration to set a national cybersecurity strategy and for leaders of critical infrastructure and technology to establish industry security standards and to form coalitions, like OTCC and Ethos, that are aligned on matters of national security. The U.S. Justice Department announced the completion of a court-authorized operation codenamed Medusa to disrupt a global peer-to-peer network of computers compromised by sophisticated malware called Snake. Snake has been attributed to a unit within Center 16 of the Russian FSB. For nearly 20 years, the unit, referred to in court documents as Turla, has used versions of the Snake malware to steal sensitive documents from hundreds of computer systems in at least 50 countries, belonging to NATO member governments, journalists, and other targets of interest to the Russian Federation. After stealing these documents, Turla exfiltrated them through the covert network of unwitting Snake-compromised computers in the US and around the world. The US CISA and global partner organizations published a detailed technical advisory containing information that can be used to detect and prevent attacks involving the Snake malware, including a recent variant. The sophistication of Snake stems from three principal areas: its means to achieve a rare level of stealth in its host components and network communications, its internal technical architecture that allows for easy incorporation of new or replacement components, and its careful software engineering design and implementation, with the implant containing surprisingly few bugs given its complexity. NERC released a white paper introducing a cyber-informed transmission planning framework, which offers a roadmap for integrating cybersecurity into transmission planning activities to strengthen the grid resilience. The roadmap is intended to drive investments in cybersecurity where warranted and can be used by various entities, including the NERC, regional entities, industry stakeholders, regulators, and policymakers to conduct reliable studies. This will help uncover unacceptable risks to the BPS that should be addressed with appropriate mitigations. Members of the U.S. Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs reintroduced bipartisan legislation that would require the CISA to help protect commercial satellite owners and operators from disruptive cyber attacks. The Satellite Cybersecurity Act will require CISA to consolidate voluntary satellite cybersecurity recommendations, including guidance specifically for small businesses, to help companies understand how to best secure their systems. Dragos faced a failed extortion scheme by a known cybercriminal group on Sunday, though its systems were not breached. The Hanover, Maryland headquartered company said that no Dragos systems were breached, including anything related to the Dragos platform, and that its investigation is ongoing. The criminal group gained access by compromising the personal email of a new sales employee prior to their start date, and subsequently used their personal information to impersonate the employee and accomplish initial steps in the employee onboarding process. Otorio announced last week that it secured a patent for its risk management model and attack graph analysis algorithm. The patent describes the cyber-digital twin technology that creates a virtual replica of an industrial control system network, allowing for continuous monitoring and assessment of cybersecurity risks and vulnerabilities. The technology uses real-time data from the ICS environment and applies advanced analytics to provide insights into potential threats and suggest mitigation strategies proactively. This approach helps to focus on the most practical call to action, assisting organizations to have better ROI on their existing security controls. Waterfall Security Solutions reported 57 OT-related cyber attacks on industrial systems out of 218 incidents in 2022, which caused physical consequences in the real world. The data shows that industrial cybersecurity has transformed from a mostly theoretical problem last decade to a very real and rapidly growing problem this decade. A vast majority of the attacks were ransomware, and in most of these attacks, only the IT network was impaired, not the OT network. Nonetheless, in all ransomware attacks tracked, there were physical consequences, either because the physical operations relied on crippled IT systems, or because ransomware victims did not trust the strength of their OT security systems and so shut down operations in an abundance of caution. Researchers from Sentinel Labs have observed ongoing attacks from Kimsuki, a North Korean state-sponsored APT with a long history of targeting organizations across Asia, North America, and Europe. Current understanding of the group indicates they are primarily assigned to intelligence collection and espionage operations in support of the North Korean government since at least 2012. Ongoing campaigns use a new malware component called Recon Shark, which is actively delivered to specifically targeted individuals through spear phishing emails, OneDrive links leading to document downloads, and the execution of malicious macros. And with that, this week's edition of the Industrial Cyber Weekly Roundup has come to an end. Visit industrialcyber.co for our most recent content, articles, resources, and updates on the industry, and I hope to see you here again next week.